Me? Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to go on and say a few words.
Okay.
And then I'm going to come back.
Yeah.
And then she'll get and do a proper introduction.
Okay.
He's going to introduce you first.
Okay.
So you go out there, but screaming your name. And then he'll introduce me, I'll come, and then we'll both sit down. And...
Wait, I'm screaming my name?
No.
Like, that would be weird. All right.
It's probably all set up, but I want to make sure that the projections are all good to go.
Yes, they're all good to go. Yes. And then,
All right, so you go on, you say a few words, and then
yep, when you call your name.
All right.
Okay, and then all of us, we're going on.
Cheers.
Oh, when I go on right now.
Oh, okay.
Wait, what? That's not in there. Okay. Cheers. Oh, right, but it's going to be hard. We're going to do a whole thing. A lot of drama. Hello. Hi. Thank you. Hello. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for coming out tonight. My name is Nichole Hill. I am the host and creator of Our Ancestors Were Messy. Yes, thank you so much. How many of you have never heard the show before? Oh my God, welcome. How many of you have listened before? Oh my God. Well, I'll just say I wanted to come out early to just be able to put eyes on you and say thank you so much for coming out. I know that putting on outside clothes and coming places to see people is among the greatest gift. I appreciate you so much. We're going to have a lot of fun. Let me tell you a little bit about the show. So, Our Ancestors Were Messy. This is a Black History comedy podcast. So there is going to be laughter. And I know that oftentimes with Black history, there can be the feeling that you're not allowed to laugh, but I want to tell you right now, that's not the way we're going to be engaging with history right now. We're not going to be laughing at our ancestors, but we will be laughing at ourselves and the ways in which this family resemblance has been passed down and the way humans remain human. So thank you all for being open to that. Also, when I'm working on the show, so the way the show works is that I look up Black newspapers. They have these gossip columns, these historic Black newspapers. And in these gossip columns, they're talking about everybody's business. Who's dating who is cheating on who is yelling at who's beefing with who, and I absolutely love it. And I use that as a jumping off point to get me then into the history and the ways that the ancestors that I cover went from like making these headlines to making history. And so a lot of times when you're in archives, you have to do a little bit of imagining and figuring out what is the reason that someone may have done what they did that historians haven't necessarily researched or included. And so when I am imagining, I like to be very clear and use a little trope, I'll say, called, where I say like, oh, I'm imagining a movie. Typically speaking, when I do that, I have no accompaniment. But today, on this very special day, just for y'all, I have this amazing acting troupe. Yes. Okay, I have to introduce everybody by name. We have Ike Anderson. Yes. Yanina Barber Payne. Darnell Glover. Amira Tate. And Cameron Gardner. They're going to be joining me tonight. I'm so excited to have y'all. Wait till you see what they do. Okay, a couple more things before we get started. Typically, I cover the 1865 and after, but today I'm going to be covering pre-1865 because it is the 250th anniversary of the signing of the Declaration of Independence this year, and I want to tell a story to commemorate the things that our ancestors were doing at that time. So this is going to be a very special episode, a very special taping, and you'll notice that you have bells on your seats. Yes. So there's going to be some participation, and thank you all for being open to that. I have to thank Piers, Gelly, and the UVA English Department's Writing with Sound Speaker Series in the Virginia Festival of the Book for bringing me here. I'm so thrilled, I'm so honored, I'm so excited. And I'm out of things to say. So, without further ado, start the show.
The Secret Adventures of Black People presents Our Ancestors Were Messy. A band of war-weary vets embark on a quest to find the promised land. Along the way, they'll face obstacles that pit them against the elements, the unemployed, and each other. This episode stars director of the Virginia Center for the Book, Kalela Williams. And your host, Nichole Hill. Anytime, guys. Live from the VA Festival of the Book in Charlottesville, Virginia, this is Our Ancestors Were Messy, a show about our ancestors and all their drama.
Very much, thank you. Okay, hello.
Hi.
Welcome.
Welcome, everybody.
We have been doing a very intense, you can't know anything thing for the last month, trying to keep you just without any knowledge of what's about to happen. And now the day has finally come for us to
Yes.
feel what we've been up to. Okay, so to start, I have a few questions for you. How many generations back can you trace your family history in America?
I can probably trace about, I think 5 or 6, but I'm an English major and not a math major, so I think
5 or 6, though,
I think back to the late 1700s. Yeah, or maybe a little earlier than that, because there was a guy who got his head split open during the American Revolution, but yeah.
We don't have to talk about that part.
Yeah.
Wait, okay, so then what's the lore of the earliest family member that you know?
So this was actually a white family member who we don't have the exact records because he wasn't married to my ancestor, but family history says he was. And his grandson tried to apply for money back in the 1890s, and he testified that his grandfather had, gotten his head split open during the American Revolution. I think it's Saratoga or something, but, well, yeah.
That is wild. Does somebody in your family just have that information? They're like the family historian, they tell you these things, or did you go find it?
I actually found that on Ancestry, but the family tree has been in my generation. But I found that report. Yeah.
That's amazing. I know like 2 generations back, so that's like a special gift to know so much.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Okay. So how or has the Black church influenced your identity as a Black American?
Oh, that is an interesting question. That is a rich question. I grew up in Georgia, but my family's from South Carolina. My parents weren't especially religious, but my grandmother, my mother's mother, had a special, she could call the Lord up.
Oh, yes.
Basically,
Yes.
she had the direct path
Mm-hmm.
to the Lord,
Mm-hmm.
and I grew up with that shadow.
Did she do the thing where it's like, oh, when there's a thunderstorm, you have to be quiet?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. All the things. My great-grandmother was like that too.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. So then how do you feel like it's shaped you?
It's interesting because I'm not a religious person, and I don't think it's necessarily that I was trying to get away from faith, because it's part of my culture, part of my history, in some ways it's part of who I am. So like I could hear a good gospel song and I'm like, whoa, because it's just in my bones.
Right.
It's just in my bones. I can't. But it is interesting. I don't know that I choose to be without faith. But yeah.
You don't know that you choose to be without it.
Yeah.
It just has happened.
It just happened. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
How does that sit with you? Now I'm going to full interview. We don't have time.
Oh, I
How
know.
does that sit with you?
In some ways it feels like a departure from my culture, and it feels like I'm not one with. But I've been, I've interacted on social media with some folks who are kind of in the same camp.
Yeah.
But again, faith is part of our history.
Yeah.
And it's braided in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's very true. It does feel the culture, the church and Black culture are so intertwined.
Yes.
And it does feel like when I'm not in church, I'm further away a little bit from like what it has been historically.
Yeah.
So I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
Okay, one last question.
Yeah.
What kind of Black are you?
Blackity black black. I mean, my thing is, Black is so many things. Black is not I grew up thinking Black was one thing and that I was outside of that. It's not. It's so many things. And if you are, you are. It doesn't matter who you are or what you're into, what your hobbies or your whatever you like to do, whatever your thing is, you are doing that thing and you are Black and that thing is Black along with you. So, yeah.
Amen.
Yeah.
All right. And with that, we're getting started. Kalela.
Yes.
It's 1775.
Yeah.
And we're in the Philly home of one of the most famous Americans in the world.
Okay.
Benjamin Franklin.
Okay.
In the living room, behind closed doors, Benjamin is fighting with his beloved only son, William Franklin. And here's why. At the moment, there are around 2 million largely European migrants living in the 13 colonies. Native Americans would call these people illegals. They're pretty diverse, different languages and religions and cultures, but you can divide everybody up pretty much in this way. A third, Benjamin Franklin included, are like, we're done with the British. We are called the Patriots, and we want to do the American Revolution. Another third are like, we hate politics, leave us out of this. And then the final third, including William Franklin, the son, are like, we need to stick with the British. We're called loyalists, and we're going to stop this American insurrection. In the movie, Benjamin Franklin is yelling at his son. He's saying, you're going to be a loyalist slave to the British? Calling people slaves for siding with the British is just like the ultimate diss for the slave-owning patriots. William says, Dad, why are you going against our king over the Boston Massacre? Like, only 5 people died. That's not a massacre. It's fake news. These two will go on to fight on opposite sides of the war. Afterwards, despite William's attempts at reconciliation, Benjamin Franklin will die having never forgiven his son for siding with the British. America was a house divided from the very start. But this is not a story about the Franklins. In the movie, listening to this fight just outside the living room are Joseph, Jemima, Peter, King, Othello, George, and Bob. These are all the people that Benjamin Franklin enslaved in his lifetime. They turn to each other and say the thing that's got to be on the minds of the 500,000 enslaved Black people across the 13 colonies. Whose side of this are we on? This is the story of our ancestors' revolutionary quest for a promised land. So we're in the American Revolution with your people.
Yeah.
Okay, so our ancestors are going to have to make a lot of choices in this story, and so I would like all of us to make the choices with them. You'll notice that you have your bells. This is so that you can choose to go one way or another. First, we're going to ask Kalela which way she would go, and then we're going to see which all y'all would do. And sometimes when I tell this story, people in your seat want help. I'm not going to help you, but if you do, they'll help you back there. If you need to phone a friend.
Okay.
Okay, so I just want to practice, be sure we're all ready. I'm going to give you a choice, and then the audience will answer. If you could only watch one genre of film for the rest of your life, would you choose 90s, early 2000s rom-coms or 90s, early 2000s horror movies?
Oh, I think I'm going to have to go with the horror movies.
Horror movies for the rest of your life?
I can't do the rom-coms.
Okay, if you would go rom-coms, let's hear it. Brilliant, correct choice. Okay. And if you would go horror movies? Wrong choice. Great, okay, so we're clear. That's the way it's gonna go. All right, we're back in the story. It's still a colonial era. But now we're in Essex County, Virginia, with our ancestor, David George. Every historical account I've read of him describes him as charming and charismatic. We are gonna be casting him later, so just keep these details in mind.
All right. David George.
Yeah, exactly. He'd been born enslaved to a sadistic person that we're going to call the cruel man. David sees this man torture his family, and he's terrified that he's going to be next, so he runs away. But for our ancestors, running was only the beginning, because people who traffic in humans don't just let them go. They own businesses where labor is free, and if you build a whole country with free labor, it'll be competitive on the global market in no time. So industries evolve to keep enslaved people enslaved. After David runs, the cruel man chases him across Virginia, South Carolina, Georgia. He's bought and sold a few times by other people, always with the cruel man on his heels for years. It goes on like this. Eventually, David is sold to someone down in Silver Bluff, South Carolina, and he escapes the cruel man for good. On this new plantation, David meets and marries a resilient-sounding woman named Phyllis. I know I haven't given you very many details outside of that, but who could play David George and who would make a good wife?
You mean out of actual celebrities?
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll start with David, though. Who would you pick?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know. Idris Elba.
Idris Elba?
Yeah, maybe.
Can't do that one, Mike.
Okay, all right. Oh, gosh.
Do you need help?
I need help.
Does anybody else have an idea who
Yeah,
could
who's got
play?
an idea?
He is young, a young
question.
person, in his 20s, let's say.
Oh,
Let's-
shoot. Yeah, that was bad. Bad choice.
No disrespect to you, Idris. You're old now, though.
Yeah.
Who would you pick in their 20s?
Oh.
Or 20s, 30s?
Yeah.
Yeah, they can play young.
Oh, yeah. There we go.
You're going to give it to Michael B. Jordan?
Maybe, yeah.
Michael B. Jordan?
What do you think?
I just won an Oscar.
Yeah. Because he's in his 30s, right? I mean,
Yeah, he's 20, yeah.
good
Somewhere around there.
looking. I mean, whatever. Yeah. Okay.
Okay,
yeah.
now who could play Phyllis?
Oh, let's see.
Good wife. Who would you want to see in that
Good
movie?
wife.
Michael B. Jordan paired with...
Yeah. I don't know. What's her name? Wambui. From.
Oh, from Sinners.
Yeah, why not?
Masaku?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not her, but I'll try my best.
I don't know.
Oh, you're good.
Yeah.
We're reuniting the cast.
Yeah, why not?
Okay.
Why not? Yeah.
And another Oscar. Let's go. All right. So they're gonna be your David and your Phyllis.
Yeah.
All right. So David and Phyllis have a child, and his situation does seem calmer. The new enslaver is not violent, but still David falls into what sounds like a very deep depression. Today we would point to the family separation, the escapes, the captures, knowing his child is going to be enslaved for the rest of his life, but David does not know what's wrong with him. He's like, I don't know what's triggered this, but I really do not want to be this unhappy anymore. Then one day he's walking through the woods, and here is what he describes happening to him.
Hey, how are you?
I'm all right. What's up?
I'm good. So, you know how life is really rough for us here on Earth?
Yeah, I do.
Well, just so you know, if you don't get right with God, when you die, you're gonna twist and burn in hell forever. Have a good day.
David had never really gotten involved with Christianity before, but now he's kind of thinking about it.
I mean, put in those terms.
When you put it like that. But he starts getting curious about it. He tries praying at first, but nothing really happens. But he keeps it up, and then eventually he says that he hears God say, I will send you deliverance. Could this be a sign that maybe he should run again? It's time for major decision number 1. If you were in David's shoes, and you were this miserable, and you were hoping for some kind of deliverance, do you think that you would try running again, knowing that you have a partner now and a young child? Let's say young is like 5-ish, under 5. Or would you stay put and try to figure out some other way to seek deliverance?
You know, honestly, I think I'd stay put.
Talk us through it.
It would be a tough choice, but I think I would. I think I'd try to do right by my family.
Okay, so can you explain more about what you mean by that?
I mean, in some ways you could think, okay, we're running, maybe I could, sort of, I mean, this is before Harriet Tubman, but maybe I could sort of be this person who comes back and does something. But knowing the limited choices I have, I think I'd try to protect my family.
Okay. If you think that you would, let me get this right, if you would stay, ring your bell. If you would run, ring your bell. Right? He decides to stay. But he's so miserable, and he's hopeful that maybe Christianity could help him if he could just figure out how to work it correctly.
Yeah.
So then, a pastor named Brother Lau stops by the plantation. Brother Lau says, God said, come unto me all ye that labor, and I will give you rest. And David's like, God gives laborers rest? I'm very interested in that. He learns to read, and he starts scrolling through the Bible. He's like. And then he and Phyllis join Brother Lau's congregation. Eventually, David is offered the position of pastor. He does not feel fit for this role, but he reluctantly accepts, and then he gets their enslaver to give them a barn for their services, and they name it Silver Bluff Baptist, and it becomes one of America's first black churches. It might be the first. There's a bunch of debate with the church in Georgia. I can't get involved, so I'll just say one of. So, under David, Silver Bluff Baptist grows from 8 to 30 members. His congregation is made up of fellow captives. They're all likely to have experienced violent assaults, to have witnessed their families being violently assaulted. But I imagine that at Silver Bluff Baptist, they get to enjoy, at least for a little while, a sense of safety. Everybody say safety.
Safety.
You sound so good. All right. In that safety, they tell each other Bible stories. Historians know, I always think this is so funny, they're like, black people across colonies seem to really enjoy this one story in particular. I'm like, I know why they like it. It's their I want to dance with somebody, they're living on a prayer, their return of the Mac. It's the Exodus tale. You knew it, yeah. Of course, like, of course I know. Yeah, every time I read these accounts, they're like...
GTFO tale, yeah.
Exactly, literally, the OG, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm always reading, I'm like, why are you guys saying it like that? Like, it's clear why they like this tale. But for everybody who does not know, this is the story of how God sided with enslaved laborers over wealthy pharaohs and eventually sent deliverance. Everybody say deliverance.
Deliverance.
In the form of Moses, Prince of Egypt, who parted the seas and delivered them into the promised land. In the movie, David George would preach the Exodus sermon and people would be hype. And then, in my movie, remember that, he would lead them in singing one of our people's most powerful hymns. Do you know the song? Kirk Franklin and the Family?
What's that?
Kirk Franklin and the Family, a 90s
yeah.
classic.
Yes, yes. Sorry, it took me a minute, but yes.
I know it's quiet.
Do you want a revolution?
Whoop, whoop.
Do you want a revolution?
Okay, so everybody's so hyped, they're having a great time, but then the American Revolution arrives in Silver Bluff. In 1779, they hear that the Redcoats are coming, and David George's enslaver, he just runs away. He just like leaves everybody on the plantation. It's absolutely wild.
Okay.
And they're like, okay. It sounds like Silver Bluff Baptist gathered together to decide what they were going to do next. Hint, hint. You might have to decide too. Okay, so now, black folks are meant to be in an information blackout. Enslavers worry that all the talk of all men being created equal will give them ideas, but in my movie, here's what happens next. Phyllis, played by, Winnie, will stand up and say,
Silver Bluff Baptist, listen up. Now, I delivered a letter on another plantation a while back, and then I did what every enslaved mail carrier do, which is I go over to the slave quarters and ask, what's been going on here? And this is what I heard.
In 1775, Lord Dunmore, governor of Virginia, was like, hey, enslaved people, I proclaim that if you fight for the British, you can be free. A guy named Harry Washington from a plantation called Mount Vernon was like, bet, and he escapes. He'd run before, but his enslaver, George Washington, always hunted him down, always dragged him back. But when Harry heard about Lord Dunmore's Emancipation Proclamation, he got away for good to fight for the British. There was also this other guy that everyone calls Colonel Ty. He escaped slavery in New Jersey and joined the British, where he got command of a guerrilla unit specializing in raids, ambushes, and assassinations. The papers say that men like him serve in uniforms with "Liberty to the Slaves" written across their chests. So maybe Silver Bluff Baptist members start thinking, could fighting for the British be our way out of Egypt? Someone asks,
How do we know the British will actually free us after the war?
and Phyllis answers,
Well, because I heard they promised.
so now it is time for major decision number 2.
Yeah.
Would you choose to fight for the Americans,
Yeah.
the Patriots, or would you choose to fight for the British Loyalists?
Oh, man. Oh, this is a tough one. They promised. We know where that gets us. But I don't know. It's like the devil you do know. I don't know. I think I would go, I think I might go with the Loyalists.
Say more, why?
You know, my rationale would be, even though I know they're behind the empire, the whole institution of slavery in the colonies, I would think, well, I'm not sure this is right, but I would think, well, they don't have slavery in their country per se. They just do it to everybody else. But maybe there would be a way for me to go to a place where it's illegal. So maybe if I stick with the Loyalist, I mean, that's a train of thought, right? But I would also be like, oh no, this could be a really bad idea.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
But that's your choice. You're going to go
yeah,
with the
I'm
Loyalists.
gonna go with that. Yeah.
Right. If you would go with the Americans, ring your bells.
Okay.
If you would go with the Loyalists, ring your bells. Better hope the administration never hears about that. All of us are getting in trouble. 5,000 to 8,000 enslaved and free black people fought for the Americans. An estimated 15,000 to 20,000 black folks fought for the British, including the members of Silver Bluff Baptist. So David George and all them, they're going with the British. They're stationed outside Savannah, Georgia, and when they get there, they run into Brother Lyle. This is the one who said God likes, laborers, and they're so happy to see each other. So I'm picturing America's first 2 black pastors and their congregation staying close, looking out for each other while they navigate the horrors of war. But then, in 1781, the British surrender at Yorktown, and they all learn they'd picked the losing side.
Yeah,
You knew it was coming.
I did.
You had a sense.
Oh, yeah.
America and Britain meet up to negotiate their divorce. George Washington is like, I want all our property back, including the black loyalists, including Harry Washington. Have you seen him? No, he didn't say it. I don't know if he said that. Sir Guy Carleton, the lead negotiator for the British, he's like, actually, the black loyalists are free because we promised them. They say that it's an honor thing, but the British know how crucial slavery is to the country's economic model, and they want America to lose, of course. George and Guy fight and fight, but eventually Carleton offers a compromise. He's like, okay, listen, I am going to take a bunch of loyalists, including the black ones, up to Nova Scotia. This is the nearest British colony that hasn't betrayed us. And we'll tally up the value of all the people that we take, all these black people, and then we're going to send you a check. George Washington was like, I know you're not going to pay us back. And Carleton was like, GW, don't say that, I promise. So word goes out to the black loyalists that if they can make it to New York City, find the right location, get their name in a ledger called the Book of Negroes, collect a certificate of freedom proving their military service, and make it onto a ship, they can stay free. That's all you gotta do.
It's so easy.
Just a couple clear steps.
Yeah.
I'm sure they laid it out like that.
Oh, yeah.
David George, Phyllis, and Silver Bluff Baptist are back in South Carolina when this plan is hatched. I'm sure they're wondering, how are we going to get to New York City? But then someone tells David that there's a boat that will take people straight to Nova Scotia from where they are, but they have got to move. Here's what I imagine happened next.
All right, everybody, come on. Let's get on this boat. We need to move.
All right, the last shall be first, y'all. Let's go. Come on.
Okay, and where did you hear these boats were going to take us?
I think he said Nova Scotia.
Or was it Nova Scotia? I'm not
I don't remember if the emphasis was on the O or the A,
And where is that?
North.
Definitely north and to the west.
Ooh, I thought it was the east.
And who all gonna be there?
Us! Damn!
Be better than this.
Let's go!
Brother Lyle ends up telling them that he is not going to Nova Scotia.
Oh.
Brother Lyle found a boat that will take him to Jamaica, which is kind of like just going to another state at this point. It's a
Yeah.
slave state, but that's where he decides he wants to go.
Okay.
Yeah, that's his choice. The Silver Bluff Baptist congregation has decided that they're going to go back to South Carolina rather than to try to start over again in Nova Scotia. In the movie,
Warmer there.
It's warmer there, yeah, it's very true. This is a very important part of the calculation. In the movie, everyone will ask David and Phyllis,
Brother David, Sister Phyllis, how do y'all know this isn't a trick to re-enslave you?
and they will answer,
Well, because the British promised.
Please.
it is time for major decision number 3. Are you going to go to Nova Scotia, even though none of your friends are going? Or are you going to try to stay in America and figure it out there?
I'm a GTFO. I'm gonna go to Nova
You don't
Scotia.
have to decide, no deliberation.
I'm gonna figure out some warm clothes, and I'm gonna work on my people skills so I can meet new friends, and I'm gonna get out.
Really? And will you be nervous? Would you have any kind of hesitation?
Oh yeah, I'm gonna be. Oh yeah, no, but I'm gonna go.
You're going.
Yeah.
All right. Who is joining Kalela? If you're going to Nova Scotia,
See, I got friends.
you have all these new friends.
Yeah.
If you are staying in America, let's hear it. It's real. It's real. Listen,
I got
lots of
it.
people did.
Sure.
I'm going to send the people who did. Okay. David, George, and Phyllis decide they're going to Nova Scotia. All right. When members of Silver Bluff Baptist return to South Carolina, they're likely re-enslaved, but they keep Silver Bluff Baptist going, and it is still in operation today.
Oh.
Yeah, it's really cool. They say they're the oldest. I can't say they're the oldest because of history, fact-checking, whatever, but like, good for them. When Brother Lyle makes it to Jamaica, he becomes an indentured servant, and then eventually he's free.
Okay.
He opens Baptist churches across the island that teach countless black children and adults to read at great risk. So he has a legacy too. After the American Revolution, 20,000 loyalists choose to relocate to Nova Scotia. David, George, Phyllis, and their kids are among that number. In the movie, we'll see Sir Guy Carleton on the docks in New York City. His General Birch approaches him and hands him the Book of Negroes. This contains the names and escape stories of 3,000 black loyalists. Birch says, "Sir, I've totaled the value of all the black loyalists in this ledger so that you can pay George Washington back like you promised." And at this, Carleton will laugh and laugh and laugh. He'll say, "Imagine paying reparations for slavery." I'm not doing that. And then he'll toss the book aside and he'll say, "I'm sure the Americans will let it go." Everybody say, "Let it go."
Let it go.
All right, that is the end of Act 1. I just want to check in with you. How are you feeling about your decision so far?
I mean, you make your bed, right?
How are your stress levels? People always tell me they get very stressed.
You know, high. But I think when you talk about putting yourself in history, your stress levels are, running a festival seems easy. Yeah.
Okay, and then what are your sort of like, what are you imagining right now Nova Scotia will be like for our ancestors?
Disorienting, cold AF. I mean, really cold, emphasis on the cold, especially from people who are,
From the South.
from the South. Yeah, maybe even coming from the islands. I don't do well with cold. I can't imagine.
No, me neither.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think scary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, definitely. It's so funny. The cold comes up so much in any kind of like black, I mean, it is like very, very, very cold, obviously it's Nova Scotia, but also there's a group that I can't tell you about yet because we're not there in the story, but they later say, like, we cannot live anywhere where the pineapple does not grow.
Oh,
We have to
get
get
it.
out of here.
You know what? That's a good point.
And that's
Yeah.
I feel like that's a good barometer.
Yeah, you could get scurvy up there because I mean, like, what does grow in Nova Scotia?
So many people are from cold places.
I don't know.
Like, sorry,
Yeah, I know, but yeah.
All right, okay, Act 2.
Okay.
We're back in it.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is just like a little fun fact. When Canadian students meet the colonists aboard those ships leaving America, they don't meet them as traitors or losers. That's not what they're called in Canada. They know them as the United Empire Loyalists. These are the principled, genteeled heroes of the American insurrection. They are the founding families of English-speaking Canada that stood up for what they believed in despite the cost. They were classy. They were white, they were rich, they were white, they were educated and not poor and triumphant and white and not black, and that's it. Okay, back to the archives.
Yeah.
It's the summer of 1783, and 20,000 loyalists have begun arriving on a rocky little peninsula up by Maine called Nova Scotia. I put it on the map because I know nobody knows where that is. Americans. Okay, so there's a large white population that's already there. That's mainly ex-Americans. The First Nations would call these people illegals. Everyone starts spreading out across the province. But 10,000 black and white people head to a town on the southern coast called Shelburne. Everybody says it's pretty empty. We don't know why it's empty. Don't worry about that. The Loyalist vets expect to arrive and receive a plot of land with rations waiting for them. The black Loyalists expect the same thing, but they are also expecting freedom. Turn to your neighbor and say freedom. Freedom. Now, when I'm researching, you just read like a little line. It says like, so-and-so ended up here. And I'm always like, but why, how, like logistically, what went into it? And they don't say. And so this is where my imagination kicks in. So this next part is my hypothesis about how and why David George ends up where he ends up, okay? So, come with me into the movie of my mind. All right, we know that David heads to Shelburne while Phyllis and the kids stay in Halifax. This is presumably because David finds he needs to find work and housing for them first. So let's imagine all the boats have docked in Shelburne. White folks start heading in the direction of Shelburne, but black folks head in the opposite direction, 4-ish miles and a river away. So we're picturing David looking around. He's confused. What's going on? Where is everybody going? Then he bumps into none other than Harry Washington. He'd survived the war and made it to Nova Scotia. David says,
Where are all the black people going?
and Harry says,
To the promised land. Follow me.
they head to a lush green community in the forest that the black loyalists name Birchtown.
Okay.
It's not the best spot in this province.
Sure.
It's right on the water, it's near a swamp, but it's run by the elite fighters that served under the late great Colonel Ty, who died valiantly in battle. These men are not city planners, but during the war, they'd specialized in raids, ambushes, and assassinations. And rumor has it that when they left America, they kept their guns. So maybe that's why 2,000 out of 3,000 black loyalists choose to live in Birchtown. We don't know why, but that's my guess. The living in Birchtown is tough. The black loyalists get fewer rations and supplies because science says that they are less human. They get to talking to the Mi'kmaq. These are the indigenous people in the area, and they learn that Shelburne and the surrounding area, it's solid rock. It's unfarmable. The winters are brutal. They're like, why would the British put y'all here? They're like, we don't know. It's very bad. But the Mi'kmaq indigenous people agreed to help them out with some survival basics. They organized work crews and safety patrols, and then I'm sure the New England blacks helped the Southern blacks figure out what to do about all the cold, you know. So it's by no means a perfect scenario, but the black loyalists of Birchtown are now the largest community of free black people on the continent and possibly the world outside of Africa. So if you had been enslaved your whole life, you have made it to Birchtown. What would you do with yourself now that your time is your own?
Yeah, I mean, I always think about that. You're used to somebody telling you what to do for every hour of the day, every minute of the day, and to say, I mean, you still have to work hard, you still have to get up, you still have to, you still, yeah, maybe you even work harder than you did before.
Yeah.
Because before you didn't put your heart into it, of course. But yeah. I'm sorry, the question was.
No, you
what
would
would I
free
do?
time. Yeah. But after you've done all the surviving, all the working,
yeah,
you can do anything. What would you do?
You know, again, work on my people skills. Get to know people in my community.
It's a good theme.
Yeah.
I would go for, I love walks. I would go for such long walks.
Just walks to nowhere in particular.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Sit by the water, just like waste time.
Yeah. I would think. I would just
Yes.
just have time to think, dream. Yeah.
It could be kind of, I always wish I read more things like that, but nobody's really, of just like, what else did they do?
Yeah,
It's just sort of like, they survived, it was horrible.
Yeah.
But probably did something
What you do
else.
for fun? Yeah.
Yeah, they had to
when
do
you could.
something, yes.
When you could find those little moments of joy.
Right.
What did you do?
Yes. Well, we can bet they probably went for walks.
Yeah, we'll say that.
Yeah, at least walks. And something else. Do you want to guess?
Maybe it has something to do with food. I don't know.
Ooh, that's
No?
good.
Yeah.
People oftentimes guess immediately. I guess it says a lot about the person. Make babies. I'm like, okay. I mean, humans are always doing that.
Yeah, well, that's true. That's true. I guess so. Yeah.
Eating and walking, that's what we're focusing on in
Yeah.
our story.
Yeah.
Our movie has eating
Yeah.
and walking. It's very chaste.
Yeah.
All right. The black loyalists are super Christians. Religion is to them what the algorithm is to us, brought to you by shady people, yet still, you like, you engage, you follow. You know how it is. Their influencers are the preachers, and the equivalent of their phones would be the Methodist Meeting House. They turn to it for everything. It's where kids go to school, where people get married, and of course, where they have church. I read in one account that they had like 15 events there, like in a day. I was like,
Oh,
they love it there.
Oh, that.
In my movie, this is my hypothesis, Pastor David George heads to the Methodist Meeting House to meet with their lead pastor. Okay, so he's at the Methodist Meeting House. He's meeting with their lead pastor. I repeated that line, I don't know why. So we'll see David in the sanctuary. He's waiting expectantly. Suddenly, an old man begins making his way down the aisle with the help of a cane. He's blind. He says,
Brother David, I'm so pleased the Lord brought you here today.
but you can tell he's not pleased. David George says,
Brother Moses, what a blessing.
but you can tell it's kind of not.
Yeah.
This is Moses Wilkinson, AKA Old Moses. That's what everybody calls him. He's a formerly enslaved minister from Virginia, whoop, whoop, who'd managed to escape to the British lines during the war and make it up to Nova Scotia. And the way that he preached the Exodus story is legendary. People say that he gets so into it that his congregants worry he'll have a heart attack.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, he's good at it.
Calm down, dude.
Baby David would have been like,
I'm also good at preaching that story. Hello, Pastor Moses. I'm thinking I'm the perfect assistant pastor for you. And I also think that here in the Promised Land, black and white people can go to church together.
interracial church is a colonial-era Baptist belief, but Moses is a Methodist, and this is a Methodist meeting house. Yes, our ancestors have just survived slavery and war and are now some of the freest black people in the world outside of Africa, but Baptists and Methodists can't just like go to church together. This would be like if a TikTok user and a Facebook user tried to like collaborate on the news. Impossible, can't be done. So I picture old Moses telling David,
Application denied. This here is a Methodist country. And mark my words, black and white people going to church together will only lead to trouble.
it's time to make another decision. If you were David George, would you rather live in Birchtown with all your people, but you cannot do the one thing you love, which is preach? Or would you move to Shelburne, this is where all the white people are? And that's kind of scary, but maybe you could preach.
Oh, I think I'd have to follow my calling. I think I'd move.
You would go to Shelburne?
I think so.
Oh my God, wait, say more.
Your calling is your calling. I don't know. Like, you gotta follow your passion, even if your passion leads you to territory where you're not welcome. I think I'd have to,
All right.
the unpopular choice, I'm sure, but
Let's see.
yeah.
if you would go to Shelburne. Let's hear it. Okay, so people are coming with you, some
Okay,
friends.
I have one friend. I have a friend.
If you would
I got
stay
a
in
friend.
Birchtown. Yeah.
All right.
A lot of people aren't coming.
Bye, y'all. It's been nice.
Strategy. We didn't even anticipate. Didn't think about this.
Oh, I didn't calculate
The
that.
long game.
Yeah. But I don't know. He seems pretty fiery and healthy. He's got enough fire in the belly to keep him around for a bit. So.
You're like, I don't have time for that. I don't have time for that kind of work.
Yeah.
In the archive is just a line, so everything you've seen is my theory. But in the end, David George chooses to live in Shelburne. So he's going with you. So our ancestor heads over there, and he finds that the British have prepared nothing. No infrastructure, no housing. Everyone is living in tents. This is the choice you've made. In modern terms, this is Fire Festival.
Yeah. I was thinking that. I'm like, where's my cheese sandwich with nothing on it?
That's what you chose.
Not even mayonnaise. Yeah, there it is. There it is. They didn't even put the second slice of bread on top. Sheesh, it's not even a sandwich. Okay.
The man left holding the bag in Shelburne is a bureaucrat from Boston named Benjamin Marston. So the governor of this province, he took that job as like more of a retirement gig. So he was like, Marston, I'm going to empower you to handle all of this. Do not let anything bad happen here. And then he goes off and like golfs or whatever. So Marston is in charge of everything. And when he observes the Loyalists arriving from the new United States, he doesn't seem to think that, he doesn't seem to think very much of them. He has a diary where he writes everything down. Can you please read what he says about the Loyalists?
Oh, boy. Oh.
There's reading for you.
These poor people are like sheep without a shepherd. They have no men of abilities among them.
So he's not impressed. He's underwhelmed.
No.
Here you go. If you need there it is. Okay, but helping them is his job. So I picture Marston showing up to work, and he's greeted by thousands of war-weary, unhoused ex-Americans. They're like, Marston, where is our land and our rations and our jobs? Also, we want income equality in this colony, but there better not be any racial equality. We mean it.
No.
Marston is like, okay, first of all, good morning. Next, 3 announcements. Number 1. We're giving you land, but it has to be assigned one at a time. So can all of you form like a 10,000 person line, rich people to the front, obviously. Number 2, we were gonna bring your food rations in by sea, but then the American pirates kept raiding our boats. So we're gonna have to build roads and bring it in by land from this town that's like miles and miles and miles away through solid rock and forest, and it's gonna take a really long time. Very sorry about that. And 3, when the black loyalists were enslaved, they were forced to be like carpenters and construction workers and civil engineers. And a lot of you white guys were like poor ex-farmers. So we're trying to build a metropolis here, so as you can imagine, the business suits of Shelburne have decided to give all the jobs to the black loyalists and just pay them next to nothing. The white loyalists are furious. They're like, this sucks, Marston, and it's all your fault. And then they open a bunch of taverns and get wasted in them, which is why out-of-towners called them the Dancing Beggars of Shelburne. That's their little nickname.
I don't know what kind of dance that is. It looks interesting.
David heads to the part of Shelburne where black people live, creatively called Blacktown. I don't know who named it that. So there it is. It's also all tents. It sounds like here David George confronts the enormity of his choices. He's separated from his family. Food is scarce. The white loyalists have dreamt up what we'll later call Jim Crow laws that they've been forcing on the Blacktown residents. Was this deliverance? I'm going to have you read what happens next.
Oh, boy. Do I want to know? I began to sing the first night at a camp. Black people came from far and near to listen. I kept on every night of the week. Then I appointed a meeting for the first Lord's Day close by the river. A great number of white and black people came, and I was so overjoyed with having an opportunity once more to preach that I could not speak for tears.
Then, a white guy gives him some land, and the community helps him build a Baptist meeting house. His very own one.
Yeah.
Black and white people start attending, and he starts baptizing people left and right. The governor, it's like our retirement gig governor, he hears about David George, and he's shipped rations. He's granted more land, and Phyllis and the kids are sent from Halifax to finally reunite with him in Shelburne, right?
Yeah.
David and Phyllis have homes constructed on their land for members of their congregation, and they appoint church elders. The pews sound full, and David is like,
We are so back. Praise the Lord.
is there anything that you want to warn our ancestors about? Anything you've heard that you'd be like, let's just keep an eye on that.
Oh, just when things are good, just, I don't know, just be ready.
Keep a weather eye.
I don't know, that's for all times.
Okay, so you just like keep a weather eye.
Yeah.
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 Right. Now, it's the summer of 1784. Our ancestors have been in Nova Scotia for about a year. The British government has failed to live up to its promises for about a year. I guess the Loyalists could have united to hold their government accountable, but instead they turn on each other. Rich versus poor, Baptist versus Methodist, unemployed versus employed, so that's white versus black. And all the while, more and more Loyalists keep arriving in Shelburne. This is your classic powder keg situation.
Yeah.
Marston writes the following, but for now, everything seems fine.
Okay.
Okay, it's chill for right now. Marston writes the following about the Loyalists in his diary. And for clarity, enormity, you're going to hear me use the word enormity, it means crime. Here's what he says about them. Can I have you read from his diary?
Sure can. Oh, boy. Upon the whole, considering who and what they are and the confused way they are huddled together, it is much in their favor that we have had no great enormities committed among us.
So Benjamin Marston's like, this is amazing. They're like a mess, but it's chill. One day, in July of 1784, David George and his congregation meet up at the Baptist meeting house. We're picturing excitement in the air because today is Baptism Sunday. I don't know if it's actually Sunday, but this is the vibe. Like people are getting baptized.
Yeah.
We're imagining singing, exactly, it's funny. We're imagining singing, rejoicing, excitement as everyone heads on down to the river to witness people be reborn.
Yeah.
Now, the gossip around Shelburne is that an out-of-town couple named Mr. and Mrs. Holmes have traveled to the city specifically to be baptized by David George.
Oh,
Mr. and Mrs. Holmes are white.
interesting.
That fact might be why a group of white Loyalists, who are likely out of work and broke ex-soldiers, also head on down to the river.
Boy.
So everybody's there.
Yeah.
I'm picturing the couple, Mr. and Mrs. Holmes, and David George stepping into the water while Phyllis keeps one eye on them and the other on the white Loyalists. The vibe is tense.
You want to get baptized?
Yeah.
In the name of the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit.
David baptizes Mr. Holmes first, and everything goes fine.
Great.
No reports of trouble.
Awesome.
Then Mrs. Holmes steps up. Can I have you read David's account of what happened next?
Yeah. Mrs. Holmes' sister laid hold of her hair to keep her from going down into the water.
So we're picturing two white women thrashing about in the river, probably because a black man baptizing a white woman feels like an affront to people's ideas of Christianity. Somebody calls the law, so maybe Benjamin Marston shows up rolling his eyes, he can't stand this kind of thing.
Yeah.
David says that they're all told, the lady says she wants to be baptized, so let her be baptized. So Mrs. Holmes is baptized.
You want to get baptized?
Totally.
In the name of the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit.
And then everyone leaves.
Okay.
David George is going to be asked to give an account of this event later in his life, and here's what he says happens next. This is you.
Several of the black people had houses upon my lot, but 40 or 50 disbanded soldiers came with the tackle of ships and turned my house and every one of their houses quite over. The meeting house they would have burned down had not the ringleader of the mob prevented it.
So these white loyalists have formed a mob after all that went down. They destroyed David's home and the homes of those living on his land, but the Baptist meeting house still stands. They didn't tear it down. Here's how David responds to that.
I continued preaching. They came one night and stood before the pulpit and swore how they would treat me if I preached again. I stayed and preached. The next day they came and beat me with sticks and drove me into the swamp.
After the mob chases David into the swamp, they spread out across Blacktown, looting, rioting, attaching ropes to homes and ripping them down, attacking any black loyalist in sight. Benjamin Marston writes about it in his diary. He says this.
Riot today. The disbanded soldiers have risen against the free Negroes to drive them out of town because they labored cheaper than they, the soldiers.
David George, Phyllis, and the kids escape with the rest of Blacktown to the one place they hope that they'll be safe, 4-ish miles and a river away. Now, most of Black Nova Scotia in this moment is in Birchtown, and they're likely bracing for attack. But here's what the mob would have known about their community. To get there, you'd have to make it across a river, through the lush green forests and swamps, and undoubtedly all along the way there would be black men waiting for them. Men like Harry Washington, who'd escaped America's commander-in-chief and fought with the words, "Liberty for slaves," written across his chest. Men who'd served in Colonel Tye's elite guerrilla unit, men who specialized in raids, ambushes, and assassinations. And rumor has it that when the veterans of Birchtown left America, they kept their guns. The rioting continues for 10 days. The white loyalists carry out attacks against government officials, the wealthy, and each other. Benjamin Marston has to run away, and he leaves the colony for good because they were coming to hang him, actually. Blacktown is destroyed. But despite all that chaos, there are no accounts of any successful attacks on Birchtown. The continent's largest community of free black people survived the Shelburne race riots, which some historians cite as the first recorded race riot in North American history.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. What comes up for you after hearing that?
My first thought is there is no safe place. Yeah.
Something I felt was so encouraging, though, was learning, like, oh, Birchtown did make it. I wasn't expecting that when I first learned about it.
Yeah. No, that's. It's good that he was able to come back.
Mm-hmm,
yeah.
Mm-hmm. That they had somewhere to go.
Yeah,
because that's not
absolutely.
usually the case.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But again, I just wonder how long it'll last.
Right.
Yeah.
Well,
that's
let's talk
that's the
about
question.
it.
Yeah.
We're going to fast forward now 8 years. It's 1792. When we meet back up with David George, he and Phyllis and the kids have actually left Birchtown. I imagine in a bit of a huff because you have to picture him and Phyllis showing up to church after being at the center of the first recorded race riot in North American history. Those church folks, I mean, we know them, they would have dragged the two of them. So here's what I picture.
Oh, hello, Pastor David. First Lady Phyllis. How are you?
We're blessed and highly favored.
Amen. And has the Lord spoken to you recently? Given you any words?
Well, he's always speaking to us, giving us words of encouragement and comfort.
How about any other words, like invite more white people to church next time? Let's see if we can get this race word going all the way.
You know what? It was one time.
I'm so sick of hearing about this race riot. How was I supposed to know this was going to happen? I was just trying to do what the Lord told me to do.
David says that he was able to preach from house to house, but in the end, he and Phyllis left Birchtown. Here's why.
My own color persecuted me there.
Yeah, so I think that's what it is. I think it's just, he's getting dragged.
Oh, geez.
Everybody's making fun of them. They did cause the first race riot. I mean, they didn't cause it. It's not their fault, but you know how it is in church. Yeah. And I would make fun of you too. I would bring it up a lot.
Oh, good to know.
If you call, no. David becomes an itinerant preacher traveling from town to town, and his popularity just keeps growing across race. He's just connecting. So let's picture him returning home from a preaching trip. David walks to his front door, and a man is standing there in front of the fire. Phyllis says,
David, we have a visitor.
"This is Thomas Peters." Thomas says,
Hello, David George. I found a new true promised land for our people, and I can get us there, but I need your help.
"Everyone, it is time to make one final decision."
Oh, boy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Thomas Peters was rumored to be an African prince. The rumors are, well, he's descended from a Yoruba tribe.
Okay.
So he's a Nigerian prince who is in need of help. And I didn't want to put that in there because of modern audiences will laugh. And it's not funny. No, I know it's funny. So I just say African prince, but I'm like, he is a Nigerian prince and he doesn't need help, but it's before the internet. So don't think about that part. Okay. African prince. He's kidnapped, enslaved in Louisiana. He fought for the British in the war, and now he's here in Nova Scotia. He'd been going from town to town looking for work and land, and in the process, he'd also been gathering news from across Black Nova Scotia. He learns that even though the Black Loyalists were the labor force building up the province, they were barely making enough money to survive. In the winter, they were freezing, sometimes to death, and they were starving year-round. But their biggest problem was slavery. There were enslaved people in Nova Scotia before the Black Loyalists arrived, and the white Loyalists did bring 2,000 enslaved people with them. On top of that, their former enslavers from America were coming up to Nova Scotia and contesting their right to freedom, like their legal right, taking them to court to get them back. Some were straight up kidnapping Black Loyalists back into slavery. Our ancestors are being disappeared, and they're terrified and determined to stay free. So they hatch a plan. They put Thomas Peters in charge of executing it. Here it is. He gets himself on a ship that's sailing to London. Now, not all Black people know each other, but in this one case, he does run into some Black people he used to know in London. Black Loyalists who had chosen to go there instead of like Jamaica or Nova Scotia. So he gets to talking to them. They're like, oh my God, hey, like, what's the word? He tells them everything. They're like, oh no, bruv, because they're turning British now. You know how it is. So then they connect him with the leaders of an abolitionist group called the Committee for the Relief of the Black Poor. This is a group of rich, very well-meaning white people. I know but they mean the best.
Okay.
And they love music. Okay.
Yeah, and they like a lot of clothes and.
Yeah, well, it's the time. They're very rich, but they want to do right by people.
Yeah.
Thomas tells them everything, and they're like, you know what? We all think that Black people might always face discrimination in majority white spaces, and we're wondering if the best shot y'all have is to be in Africa where you'll be the majority. Now, we sent a few hundred people to a British colony called Sierra Leone to test this theory out. They all died. But here's the thing. Somebody said that they needed vaccines in a brokered peace with the native tribes whose land we stole, but we think the real problem is that they were not Christian enough. So we want to try the Sierra Leone experiment again, but where, oh where, are we going to find hundreds of Black super Christians looking to get out of where they are right now, probably go somewhere warm? And Thomas Peters is like, oh my God, is this real life? So now he's back in Nova Scotia, and in the scene, he's pitching David George and Phyllis this whole plan. So we're picturing that it went something like this.
David, Phyllis, this time will be so different. The British government will give us land, rations, and freedom from slavery for real, for real. It's gonna be illegal there. Africa was the promised land all along. David, will you help me get our people on board?
Then I can imagine Phyllis interjecting and asking the question.
Wait a minute. Now, how do we know the British will keep any of these promises, or that they won't just sell us all back to slavery?
And Thomas Peters will say,
Well, because they promised.
Oh, yeah.
all right, it is time to make your final decision. Are you going to get on this boat and move to Sierra Leone, or are you going to stay in Nova Scotia?
You know what? I think I've moved enough. It sounds good. It sounds good. in theory, it does. It's like, okay, I'm gonna be among my people. I'm gonna get away from where I'm not welcome. But I'm relying on another promise. And at least here, I know what I got. I think I would stay. I think.
Okay. Are you trying to convince them to stay too?
I don't know. I'm trying to convince myself. But yeah, I'm going to stay. I'm going to go with stay.
All right.
Yeah.
If you are getting on a boat to Sierra Leone, let's hear it. Okay. And if you are staying put, let's hear it. Ooh, I think more people are staying in Nova Scotia in the cold.
Yeah, I mean, by now I'm used to it.
Yeah, it's true. It's been 8 years, yeah.
I know how to layer.
David, George, and Phyllis decide they're going to Sierra Leone.
Okay, yeah.
David agrees to help with promo and logistics. They tell the church influencers. The influencers tell their followers. Everyone's liking, everyone's subscribing. But then, according to David,
the white people of Nova Scotia were very unwilling that we should go, though they had been very cruel to us and treated us as bad as though we had been slaves. They attempted to persuade us that if we went away, we should be slaves again.
Without the skilled, cheap labor of the black loyalists, don't even worry about it. Without the skilled, cheap labor of the black loyalists, the wealthy landowners will lose their investments, their power, their influence. So the powers that be concoct elaborate bureaucratic roadblocks. They spread conspiracies that everyone that's going to go on this voyage will be sailing back into slavery. Nevertheless, everybody says the number. 1,196 people board 15 ships, and they're out. Sounds like more would have gone if there had been room. Here's a few words about their 1792 voyage as described by David George, founder of one of America's first black churches, survivor of one of the continent's first recorded race riots, and key organizer of one of the world's earliest and largest back to Africa expeditions.
Our passage was 7 weeks, stormy weather. There was great joy to see the land and the high mountain in the distance. Freetown, where we now live, appeared like a cloud to us. I preached the first Lord's Day, and it was a blessed time.
All right, if you ended up in Sierra Leone, let's hear it, make some noise. All right, let me tell you what happened to you. This is your part of the Black Loyalist legacy, get ready. The enslaved people of America turned Black Loyalists of Nova Scotia, turned Nova Scotian settlers once they arrived in Sierra Leone, were colonists. We honor them, but we cannot ignore that fact. They end up having lots of beef with other Africans and the British and each other, more church drama. But they figured out enough to make babies, and today their descendants are known as the Creole people of Sierra Leone, who count among their number Idris Elba and the late, great Chadwick Boseman. So you chose right. Okay. Thomas Peters has a golden statue built in his honor because in the end he was their Moses who led them to the promised land. David George continued on as a preacher, community leader, and abolitionist activist. And even Harry Washington moved to Sierra Leone, where he ended up taking a revolutionary stand against excessive British control over their colony. Who ended up in Nova Scotia? That's you. All right, let me tell you what happened.
Yeah.
After the mass exodus of Black Loyalists, development in Shelburne stalls and it empties out. The Black Loyalist settlements lost half their community to the Sierra Leone expedition, but those that remain offer refuge to other African Americans on the continent. The Black Loyalist towns become some of the final stops on the Underground Railroad. And now it's kind of like this hub. So the reason that this whole story I'm telling you is because my mom's side of the family is from Maine. And my aunt was like, oh yeah, whenever we want soul food or like really good jazz, we go up to Nova Scotia. And I was like, what? And she was like, I guess that is strange. Huh. And then I started researching. And that's how I learned about it.
I'm going to Maine in
exactly. Maybe on jacket, let's go. Right? Today, Birchtown is home to the Black Loyalist Heritage Center, who welcome me into their archives and have been walking me through this history since 2020. I'm so grateful to them. There's a scholar there. His name is Graham Nickerson. I have spent countless hours interviewing him about this history. He's been so patient. He was raised in Shelburne. He always had this question about, like, who are all these black men who live out in the woods? He was always very, very curious about them. He starts, like, researching the Black Loyalists. He sees the Book of Negroes. He finds his name in there, his family name in there. And then he goes down this whole road. So now this is his whole deal. Shout out to Graham. And his family, they started out in Virginia.
Oh.
We're all cousins.
Nice.
Yeah. All right. Did anyone stay in America? Be honest. There was somebody back there? Okay, no one's going to admit to it. Somebody stayed in America, though, and I'm going to tell you what happened to you. I mean, we kind of know, but all right. There is one way that we have commemorated the Black Loyalist legacy. There is a little debate around it. The point of contention is around the War of 1812. It was 20 years after the Black Loyalists left for Sierra Leone. That conflict saw the U.S. and Britain face off again, enslaved people fight for the British on the promise of freedom again. They escaped to Canada again, only this time they're called the Black Refugees. Some scholars think that the Americans, possibly incensed by yet another betrayal by the people they'd enslaved, adopted an anthem with a verse that was a direct threat to the Black refugees and the Loyalist example that they'd followed. Others say we can't know exactly what the line meant. Maybe the Americans had let the escapes and the fighting for the British and all that go. Everybody say, let it go.
Let it go.
Here's the verse. No refuge could save the hireling and slave from the terror of flight or the gloom of the grave. And the star-spangled banner in triumph doth wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Wow.
There's so much more that happened, but for now, that is the story of the Black Loyalists and their revolutionary quest for a promised land. How you doing?
Oh, I have so much in my brain right now. I really want to go and research. Yeah.
Good, yes.
Yeah. I'm like, I don't know, is there a book in here?
Oh, there's so many books about it.
There's
yeah,
a book.
There's a lot
Yeah.
of books. Oh, about, yeah.
Yeah. Is there another book? I mean, there was my mind is blank on titles right now, but there was the book that inspired the Book of Negroes, the show.
Yes.
Yes. And my mind is
Nichole
blank.
Hill, yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's it. Yes. But I don't know, there's so much there. Yeah.
How are you feeling about learning this history?
You know, learning history is always hard. Learning Black history is always hard because you think about those choices and you think about the lack of choices that you might have had. But it's good to hear about a family that kept moving, kept going, kept staying together, and kept following where they felt their dreams would be.
What do you think about the fact that they fought for the British? Like, obviously today, do you feel that they're in the same kind of bucket as like a Benedict, I always want to say Cumberbatch, Arnold. Not Cumberbatch, but like would you put them in the same category? How do you think about that?
You know, I mean, the thing is, we always think about the revolution as this one-dimensional thing where, you know, the good people were patriots and the bad people were loyalists. That's how I learned it in school. But the fact is, people had on-the-ground choices they had to make, and they had to look at their family, they had to look at their circumstances, and they had to look at their kin and where they could go and what they could do. And that's why, more Black people supported the British in history than supported the Patriots, because that was their choice. And I mean, the same with Indigenous Americans. Like, they had to figure out what was going to be best for them and what could preserve their families and their cultures.
Where do you think a story like this fits in Black history? Knowing that it's like, I think that people really struggle with this idea, or I should say a question that I get a lot of times from people when they hear this story is like, knowing the America that we live in today and how it's either you're for us or against us. And we're having this kind of erasure of Black history, the suppression of Black history. I don't feel afraid to tell the story. I don't think I'm on anybody's like radar like that. But I do think about like, where does this fit in Black history? After it's not the semi-quincentennial, and we're not celebrating the 250th anniversary of Black history, where does it go?
I've always thought that patriotism is personal. It is your own story, and it is your own, you have a right to your own feelings about your history and about where you live and about your nationality on paper and your nationality and however you want to think of it, right? So I think that just like earlier I said, Black is many things. American is many things. And sometimes American isn't American on paper. Sometimes if your government doesn't recognize you as American, that doesn't mean you're not, to me. That's my feeling. So I think that this is a story that echoes and that has a lot of continuations to, you know, just like when you're talking about choices and we're talking about where you can go and what you can do. We all have to make those decisions. And yeah, I think it's a quintessential story of Blackness, what you just told. It's been lived in many, many, many different circumstances. It's been lived by people who are not Black. But this idea of the devil you know and the devil you don't know is something that we've all contended with. And no matter what walk of life we're in. So, yeah.
Oh my God, I just feel like that was a word. Yes, Kalela, thank you so much.
Thank you.
For being such a thoughtful, incredible guest.
Thank you.
Very fun to tell you this story.
Thank you. And thank you to the...
Oh my gosh, all right, everybody, we need to give it up for... Oh, I didn't write it in order. Okay, Ike Anderson. Woo! Yes. Yanina Barber Payne. Darnell Glover. Amira Tate. And Cameron Gardner. Thank you so much. You made my dreams come true. All right. Thank you to the AV team, everybody, for making sure all this worked, all the mics worked. Thank you to Piers. He's the clicker. He made sure it all went forward on time.
Can I thank Ray Netzel in the back there?
Yes, thank you so much, Ray. You took such good care of us. Thank you very much. Thank you to the UVA English Department's Writing with Sound Speaker Series. That's why I'm here. Very, 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 very fun. Thank you to The Voice. You all probably recognize Chioki Ayensen. Yeah. He's also my research producer. Give it up for him. And thank you all. Thank you to all of you for coming out. I'm going to be here because I feel like it's like, I'm going to hear if you have questions or you want to keep talking. But for now, get home safe. I hope you have a beautiful night. Thank you for coming out.
Oh, there it is. 5, 6, 7, 8. Let's go.
So good. Right?
Oh my God.